What's up, everybody?
Hi, guys. I'm trying to go live on
We're going live.
Hold on.
We're live.
Live. Sorry, guys. Trying to go live on my...
Do you want this chair?
No. Hi, guys. It's Conspiracy and Chill. We're about to get Illuminati. I'm just,
Guys, it's Conspiracy Theory Thursday.
Woohoo! Conspiracy Theory Thursdays. Hi, Sammy.
Oh, man. It's going to be a good one tonight,
Hey, James.
guys.
Hey, Sammy.
We got some really good stuff going on.
Yeah, we're super excited. We're going to do our Lime Life.
Well, she is.
No, you are going to too.
This
was part.
No, I already did one.
No. This was part of it.
It doesn't count.
No, this was part of it. Okay,
No.
fine. I'm gonna let him pass this week.
I'll go every other week. How about that? Because I don't even put lotion or anything on my face, so...
Which is really annoying to me because... Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Okay. All right. Well, I wanted to start tonight with... we're going to be diving into the Illuminati, okay? And when you hear about the Illuminati, you think, oh my gosh, conspiracy.
Wait, hold on. First, let me preface this. We asked you guys what you guys wanted to talk about this week on our Conspiracy and Chill Conspiracy Theory Thursdays. And it was like unanimous. Everybody, except for like a couple people, wanted to talk about the Illuminati. That was like their first thing. So that's what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about the Illuminati. And so just thought I'd give you a preface on why we're starting with the Illuminati. It's because you guys all wanted to talk about the Illuminati.
Yeah. And so we're going to be posting every week on topics that you guys want us to hit on. We do a lot of research, and so we're really excited because this is a cool opportunity that we get to share with you guys what we've learned and dive into the conspiracy. So I wanted to start tonight, however, with a Bible verse, because you dive into conspiracy theory and all you hear is you guys are wearing tinfoil hats and you guys are crazy, but the Bible actually talks about conspiracy theories and that there's a conspiring going on against the Lord. And so we're going to start in Psalm 2. So it says, "Why do the nations rage and the peoples plot in vain?" And some translations say conspire. Why do the nations conspire? "The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, let us burst their bonds apart and cast away their cords from us." Okay, so if any of you guys have ever read Psalm 2, you kind of know that this is a psalm in which the Trinity is having this conversation.
Hi, Gloria.
And they're talking to each other, and they're asking each other, why do these people that we created, why are they conspiring against us? Okay, so we already see that there's this conspiracy happening between the people of the earth, the nations, the kingdoms, and so mainly you have these elite people that are running the world, and they're conspiring against the Lord, against his anointed. So that's you and me. Those of us who believe in Jesus, there are people conspiring against us. Okay?
Hi, Alicia.
And we know this because Paul tells us in Ephesians that we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, that we wrestle against principalities, powers that we can't see. Okay, so I wanted to start...
Slow down.
Well, you only gave me 15 minutes,
I know,
so I gotta get along.
No, you're going way too fast. I want to say hi to my friends.
No, we don't care about them.
You're taking over my life. I need you to
You told me this is what it would be. You can watch your face and do whatever you want over there. This is what the people want. This is what the people want.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Sorry.
If you're just joining us, it's Conspiracy Theory Thursdays, and we're going to conspiracize, or if that's a word. It's
Conspire.
Not, conspire. We're going to conspire. We're talking about the Illuminati tonight because that's what you, the viewers, wanted to talk about. It was like unanimous. Everybody did. Oh no fighting. We don't fight. We never fight.
Okay, we can't say hi to everyone.
Look, Megan said, Britt, you no longer have a live. Clearly, this is Seth's time to share.
Yeah,
okay.
That's right.
First, I'll tell you guys, I am going to be doing a skin polish mask, and I have tons of samples. So if you guys want them, get them. Hi, Chrissy. Okay, so I'll let Seth finish with his.
Okay, so we saw that the Bible talks about conspiracy, that there's, in Psalm chapter, in the second Psalm, we saw that there's conspiring going on.
Can your viewers see me? Okay, so
yeah, they can see you. There's conspiring going on. So I wanted to throw that out there because for any of you that know me, you know that I do a lot of research and that I get into some pretty weird things. And if we've ever had a conversation, I've probably talked about it. But I wanted to throw that out there because for me, that's kind of the backbone behind why I do all this research into this weird stuff, is because I want to know the conspiring that's going on. I want to know what these people that are controlling our world are doing. And so we decided to dive into the Illuminati tonight because that's a good place to start. So
that's because you guys all
you guys wanted to go into the Illuminati, so you're welcome. Okay, but I have this book called Inside the Illuminati. Okay, and it was written by a guy named Mark Dice. You can look him up on YouTube. He's a pretty radical dude. He goes around in California and questions all these millennials about whether they know what the Constitution says and all this kind of stuff. But this is a really good book. Some of the stuff I don't agree with. His analysis of certain people who claim to have come out of the Illuminati or been in there, I don't necessarily agree with. But I think the history that he presents is real, that it's valuable, and that it's true. Okay, so I just want to give you guys this resource, Inside the Illuminati by Mark Dice. There's another book.
Hi, David. Hi, Nikayla. Hi, Jared.
There's another book that's called 13 Bloodlines by Fritz Springmeier. And for those of you who have been keeping up with my YouTube channel, I'm actually going to be interviewing him about that and about mind control. So keep a lookout for that. But so those are two good resources if you want to know more about the Illuminati. But I want to start with the history of the Illuminati. What exactly is the Illuminati? Because you get all this Hollywood, celebrity mishmash that isn't really accurate about what the Illuminati is. And you see all the people throwing up their eye through their triangular hands like that, like LeBron and all those dudes. And we'll get into some of that symbolism here in a second. But, oh my gosh, you're nuts. Okay. So, I want to start with this quote, and
I'm just starting with my skin polish, Lime Life face mask.
Okay, yeah. So she's doing her Lime Life, and we're talking about conspiracy. I can't get it. Okay. All right. So I want to start with this quote, and it's from a guy named John Robison, and he was a science professor living in Scotland. Who published a lengthy book about the Illuminati in 1798 titled Proofs of a Conspiracy. And so if you study the history of the Illuminati, you'll know that there was a lot of people who came out of the Illuminati in its early formation and exposed it for what it was. And that was a cult who practiced occultic things, who wanted to take over the world.
Okay, so what do you mean by occultic things? Like, what is considered an occultic thing?
An occultic thing is people who practice esotericism. So they do these secret rituals. They have secret initiation. Everything about their order or their fraternity is secret. And that's
is this similar to what happens at the Bohemian Grove?
Yes, and we're going to get into that.
Okay.
We're going to get into that. But so I want to start with this quote. And he says, an association has been formed, and he's talking about the Illuminati, for the express purpose of rooting out all the religious establishments and overturning all the existing governments in Europe. I've seen this association exerting itself zealously and systematically till it has become almost irresistible. He continued, I have seen that this association still exists, still works in secret, and that not only several appearances among ourselves show that its emissaries are endeavoring to propagate their detestable doctrines among us, but that the association has lodges in Britain corresponding with the Mother Lodge at Munich ever since 1784. So this was a long time ago. And so starting with the history, the Illuminati was originally called the Bavarian Illuminati. And
like the Bavarian pretzel?
Yes. which comes from a province of Germany, okay? And so it was actually started by a guy named Adam Weishaupt in 1776, and he launched it on May 1st, 1776, which is important because May 1st is May Day, and this is an occultic holiday. It's a summer equinox, okay? And so this is where witches are practicing their things. This is where the Illuminati is practicing their things. This is where pretty much any occult or mystery fraternity is practicing some sort of sacrifice or ritual on this night, okay? And so Adam Weishaupt founded this society on May 1st.
So real quick, let me just ask, what's so special about like equinoxes, like winter equinox, summer equinox?
It has to do with solar alignment and lunar alignment and the way the menstrual cycle goes. Actually, that plays into a lot for the occult.
Y'all.
Okay, and so
is it a full moon?
I know, right?
Is it a full moon?
Well, that's why werewolves come out on full moons, right? So, anyways. He started this at Ingolstadt University, okay? And so Weishaupt was a law professor who was teaching law at this university, and he eventually made his way up to dean, okay? He was dean of this university, and he started to recruit people, okay? And so they started to gain traction, okay? And they started to write papers under pseudonyms, okay? And so...
What's a pseudonym?
Just a code name, really, is what it was, so that people wouldn't pick up on what they were doing because it was so conspiratorial, okay? And so... the original members came up with 5 goals for the Illuminati, okay? And you're going to pick up on these goals because they're very similar to what Karl Marx, Lenin, all those communist guys, Castro, they promoted and propagated in their rule, because this was the whole idea, and it's still continuing in America today. So the original 5 goals were establish the monarchy and replace all governments. So they wanted a one world religion, a one world government to overtake everything, okay? They wanted to abolish private property and inheritance, abolish patriotism along with the people's national identity and national pride. So we see that today, right? Our president, he's very patriotic, he's very pro-American, but you see so much anti-Americanism through globalism, through opening the borders, through doing this kind of stuff.
Okay, real quick, we have a question.
Yeah.
Alicia does not want to jump ahead, but she does want to know, are the Masons related to the
You are
Illuminati?
jumping ahead, okay.
Okay, but this is a question, so we're gonna make sure
we're
gonna
getting
answer that?
Yeah,
okay.
We'll get there.
We're gonna answer it, girl.
So number 4 was they want to abolish the family, marriage, morality, and then have the government raise and indoctrinate children. Man, this is a spitting image of what's going on in our society right now. And then lastly, they wanted to abolish all religions. So
real quick, so Amber says, how strange you guys are talking about this topic. Gia asked me today what Illuminati was because the boys at school kept saying it and doing the triangle sign on their eyes. I was waiting for Jacob.
Yeah, so this is good stuff, and we should teach our kids this because it's important for them to know. We're going to start teaching Jacob as soon as he can understand. So those were the 5 goals, okay? And this was the backbone of the Illuminati. In fact, in order to join the Illuminati, you couldn't have believed in a religion because they wanted to abolish all of it. They wanted to keep religion out of it because man was the center of the universe, right? We ourselves can ascend to become gods, and that's going to be...
You mean I'm not your center of your universe?
Well, you're the center of my universe, but you're not the center of your universe.
Wow.
Okay, so those are the 5 goals, okay, everybody? Make sure that you guys... see that. So those were the original goals, and they've kind of transformed as society's gone on, as time's gone on, but the main structure and foundation is there. And so Marx says this about some of their more modern goals includes a universal one-world digital currency, a Big Brother Orwellian surveillance state, the elimination of the Second Amendment and ending citizens' gun ownership, implementing an all-powerful nanny state socialist government, all leading up to the unveiling of a Messiah who will claim to be God and offer people eternal life here on earth, saying he has restored mankind to our pre-fallen state so we can live forever through the use of cybernetic transhuman technology on the new heaven on earth he has created.
Not today, Satan.
Not today. Okay, so you see where this is all going, okay? The Bible talks specifically all about this stuff, and it's coming into fruition, and it was written.
So can I just ask you, if the Bible talks about this, why aren't people more aware of it? Like, what is the
because
big
of the
secret?
Conspiracy, because of how the media portrays it, because of how society has taught us to think about all of this stuff. It's crazy, but if you actually study the history, right, because we need to be good historians, because those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. All right, so those are some of the goals.
While we're on the subject, though, can we trust our history books?
No.
Okay, so that's going to be another topic.
You have to go, well, and that was one of the goals, indoctrination of children through schools. So the education that you were brought up with was actually developed by a guy, Julian Huxley, who was Aldous Huxley's brother.
But we're not going to get off topic, because if you want to hear about indoctrination and if your history books are right, then you have to submit your question, okay? Submit your question.
So Mark goes through this, and I really encourage you guys to read this. He goes through how
is it? Can you show
it's called Inside the Illuminati by Mark Dice, and he goes through and says, gives some points here on what the Illuminati does to take over our society. And so he says using schools to indoctrinate the youth, controlling the media. That's a long one, of course. Infiltration into Freemasonry. So to get to whoever asked that. Going back to the history of the Illuminati was actually eradicated out of Bavaria because the Duke of Bavaria didn't like what was happening. He didn't like that the Illuminati was starting to take over his government and stuff like this. So he actually kicked the Illuminati out of Bavaria. And he did this through 4 edicts. And finally on the 4th edict, Adam Weishaupt left and he took everything with him. Now another guy replaced him, but it continued, okay? And the way that it continued was through Freemasonry, okay? They started to get into the Lodge of Freemasonry. They started to take their enlightened doctrine into Freemasonry, and that's actually how it propagated into America. So when America was founded in 1776, right, which is actually the date on the back of the dollar bill, but actually corresponds to the Illuminati, along with all the other symbolism that corresponds to the Illuminati on the back of the dollar bill. This is when they started to infiltrate Freemasonry. And
Freemasons are cray. No, not all of them. A lot. Just let's clarification. Like, if you know somebody who's a Freemason, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're like into all of this stuff. Because can you agree that a lot of Freemasons are deceived in what they really?
Well, yeah, and Albert Pike talks about that the lower initiates don't really know what's going on because they aren't told, and they don't have enough backbone to go do their own research into it. It's kind of like when you're involved in a cult. You're listening to the leader of the cult, and you're told, like Scientology. And for those of you who didn't listen to my YouTube channel, I just interviewed an ex-Scientologist, and Scientologists are actually restricted from going on the internet and learning about this stuff. So the guy that I interviewed, he said that he was not allowed to go on the internet, and until he actually left Scientology and started learning on his own, created a more hatred for the cult itself because he didn't know anything about it. So,
if you have a family member who's a Freemason, it doesn't mean that they're like bad people. It just means that they can be deceived.
Yeah, like any of us. And so we have to test everything against the Word of God first of all, okay? And that's why I started with the Word today, because we're measuring everything against the Word of God. That's our goal. Okay, so the infiltration into Freemasonry. Okay, so this is where another point that I wanted to hit was affiliated secret societies. Okay, so you'll hear all these mentions of these secret societies and all this kind of stuff. The Illuminati uses this to propagate their beliefs. And you can't have 5 guys running the entire world. You have to have system set up. You have to have people that can help you do this stuff. So they use these secret societies to do that. So the first one that he mentions is the mystery schools. And this goes back...
Hey, girl!
This goes back to Egypt and beyond. Actually back to Nimrod, the Tower of Babel, even before the flood, to the Nephilim, to the fallen angels.
Where's all my Nephilim people?
All that kind of stuff. Okay, so the mystery schools was where this secret knowledge, which is what the Gnostics preached as well, was supposed to be delivered to its initiates, okay? And they were supposed to gain all of this enlightenment as they progressed up this proverbial ladder of power, okay? And so the mystery school started with Egyptian esoteric, or not started, but eventually led to Egyptian esotericism, where you have Horus and the mystery schools in Egypt. This is around the time when Moses was going through, and that's why you see when God set the people free, these astrologers, these magicians were able to copy what God was doing because they had learned so much of this secret power and knowledge, which is actually just demonic power.
Hi, Stan.
So that's where started. Another one he says is the Knights Templar. You can do some more research into the Knights Templar. They were basically. If
you want to know what the Knights Templar are, submit your question. That can be 1 week.
We can study the Knights Templar. Just a branch of Freemasonry, really.
Amber said, Seth is so hyped talking about this. He looks like he's gasping for air.
I am. I got to get out a lot because we only have a certain amount of time. So the Jesuits, that was another one. The Rosicrucians, Freemasonry.
We can definitely make a week 2 for Illuminati.
Skull and Bones, okay, and George Bush and his dad were in this, and so just because you're Republican or Democratic doesn't mean that you're out of this secret society.
Doesn't matter what side of the aisle you sit
Scroll
on.
and Key is another Yale University. Wolf's Head is another Yale's University. Communism came from the Illuminati, as we saw.
You guys,
the Bohemian Grove.
This is why I didn't go to Yale. They wanted me. They wanted me so bad, but I was like, not
the
today.
Bellician Grove, which is just a women's Bohemian Grove. Not a lot of people know that. The Seraphic Society, this is where the elite get their secretaries. There's actually a secretary. The Ordo Templi Orientis.
Alexis said, did we already touch on Beyonce?
Jekyll Hyde Island.
Calm down. Okay, hold on. We have to make this fun.
Why?
Calm down. We know you're so passionate, Seth, but people have questions. Okay, did we already touch on Beyonce? Are we all wondering if she's the leader? Laugh out loud. Just me?
The Zodiac Club, Council of Foreign Relations, the Jasons, the Bilderbergs. Okay, so we got into the history a little bit. We talked about affiliated secret societies. There's a lot to cover. I'm sorry.
We're doing this every week, though. So
I know, but this week is the Illuminati.
I know, but we could do Illuminati part 2.
Spiritual beliefs. It is often said that the Illuminati are satanic or Luciferian, which seems unbelievable to someone new to this material because it's so far outside of most people's realm of understanding that such claims are often met with skepticism, disbelief, or outright ridicule. But when one takes a closer look and understands just what Satanism and Luciferianism is, such claims not only seem reasonable, but are undeniable. The Illuminati believes that Satan actually saved Adam and Eve from enslavement to God, who they say was holding back mankind's true potential and keeping Adam and Eve imprisoned in ignorance, okay? So this is the foundation of the Illuminati spiritual beliefs, okay? And like I was talking about earlier, they believe that man can be elevated to godhood, okay? And we're going to see that as time goes on in our society through transhumanism, okay? You'll see that word starting to pop up a lot more.
And if you have a question about transhumanism and what is transhumanism, make sure you submit your question.
And I'm doing an interview with Carl Tykrib on Tuesday to talk about transhumanism and the shift in our society from postmodernity to more transhumanist state. So,
y'all, I can't repeat these
Mark
words.
goes on to say that the biggest secret of the Illuminati is that they believe Satan is good because in their view he is the superior god, and this secret was endowed them with tremendous power. Okay, and the reason that they're so secretive is because they want to keep this hidden, right? Mm-hmm. They don't want to come out in public at the State of the Union address and say, we believe in Satan and that he is good and that he saved us, right? Because most America would be like, what the heck is going on?
Hey, real quick, my homegirl here on Instagram said, where do you do these interviews? On a vlog? Yes, Seth has a YouTube channel.
I have a YouTube channel, Apollineering. Check it out.
Apollineering. It's awesome. He has been interviewing people who have come out of the New Age, out of Scientology, out of atheism. What else?
I'm going to be, like I said, I'm doing one on transhumanism and the shift in different stages of our...
Can I just, real quick, I have to brag about you. Seth started his YouTube channel and he's reached out to these guys who have like amazing followers who really
Yeah,
get into
cool.
this stuff, like really get it. Like they spend their lives like doing these like big things that I can't pronounce. Anyways, Seth is getting to interview these guys. You guys, like for real, he's getting to do that. And I'm like so proud of him because you guys can tell how passionate he is. And he wants all of you guys, our friends, to be aware of this. Even if you don't believe in it, just to be aware, like just to open your mind and say, hey, does this really exist?
Yeah. Well, and that kind of goes into the next thing that he talks about in their spiritual beliefs is that they use double speak or double meaning. So they have what's called an exoteric meaning and they have an esoteric meaning. So they give a meaning to the public, right, which is what you and I understand. So, for example, one would be the pyramid on the back of the dollar bill just means that it's the unfinished pyramid, so that means that America hasn't been completely established, that we're building, that we're trying to create this free society, right? But the esoteric meaning of the pyramid is different.
Leanna, no, I don't understand a lot of the stuff my husband says. I just nod my head and I try to just get the little words that come out of his mouth.
Yeah, and then the last one, or there's one more thing I want to hit on after this, but the one of the main ways that the Illuminati get their plans established and the way that they propagate their plans across the world is through something called the Hegelian Dialectic. And so this is written by a guy named George Hegel, who was a German philosopher who wrote this dialectic, which is just a philosophy or a way of life. And what it means is that you start with a thesis, so you have an idea, right? And then you create an idea, you create an opposing idea, and then when the two clash, the outcome is the synthesis, and it's all planned. Okay, so for example, one would be the Republican Democratic bipartisan America. Okay, so we got bashing heads together, right? Republicans hate this, Democrats hate this, all this yammering. Okay, eventually it's going to explode symbolically, and what's going to happen? The New World Order, where everyone gets along, we're all at peace, right? There's no more party system that's going to be done away with.
Which probably seems like palatable to us because we've been in this discourse for so long.
How many of you guys want peace, right?
Yeah,
you don't want to keep fighting against your friends and all this crap, but it's all planned. It's called the Hegelian Dialectic. Okay, so they use that to propagate their plans. They also use sex magic.
We think we're free, but we ain't.
Okay, and symbolism for the Illuminati, the sun, the pyramid, the all-seeing eye. I'm sure most of you guys have heard of this. Snakes and serpents, the phoenix bird, okay? Elevation Worship actually mentions a phoenix in one of their songs, and I was like, whoa. The owl, skull and crossbones, Baphomet, the pentagram, square and compass, the Statue of Liberty, Rockefeller Center Prometheus, the Washington Monument or an obelisk, Cleopatra's Needle, which is another obelisk, movies and music. Okay, so the Illuminati, they use all these symbols, and symbols are very important. There's something about symbols that makes us relate to a situation, that make us connect to something, okay? Yeah. So they use the symbolism to program us, to subliminally program us, but also to get across their message to the initiates who understand what they're looking at. So for example, on the back of the dollar bill, when Woodrow Wilson and FDR and his vice president, his name's escaping me, but when they developed this, they knew instantly what they were looking at because it related to Freemasonry going back to the Illuminati. So,
well, guys,
that was my
did
teaching.
Not breathe. I know. So there were a couple questions that came in still about the Illuminati. So we are going to have week 2 next week. And then after that, we'll catch up on all the other...
Next week can be more of a question and answer week.
Yeah,
I just wanted to
more
get
question
a
answers.
lot of the info out there.
There's quite a few that we're not going to get to because we wanted to keep this as short as possible, which really was not super attainable. We're going to try to keep these videos to 15, 20 minutes. No longer than 20 minutes.
That's a big topic.
I know. So we'll break it down. Next week, we'll be going in depth with question and answers. So if you guys have questions, we would love to answer them as we can. Obviously, we don't know everything, but Seth knows quite a bit. So, hey, if you're watching the replay, we'd love to know. Drop a heart. or hashtag input replay. That's it for tonight, guys. We hope that you enjoyed our Conspiracy Theory Thursdays. We love that you got all the Illuminati with us. So we love you guys. We just
What's
pray
up, everybody?
God's
Good to see
peace
you guys.
and love over you guys, and that you guys would be blessed tonight in your going.
Dustin!
Love you guys. See you later.
All right, later, guys.